I don't think there's any sort of wide scale Enron type of fraud happening. At the same time, though, if you look at something like OpenAI, for example, they are the fastest company ever to $10 billion in revenue. Now, the issue with having this kind of explosive growth, which the valuations are trying to justify right now, is that marginal dollar in revenue is much harder to come by as the firm gets larger. So just, again, to make a simple example, if I go outside, it's almost 90 degrees today in Palo Alto and start selling lemonade, the first $100 I can sell in lemonade is probably going to be pretty easy. But if I want to scale that, for example, to increase that by 17x and make $1,700, that marginal dollar is going to get much more difficult. In terms of the revenue that's accruing from AI, I think the firms themselves, again, are trying to figure out how much is actually coming from AI versus existing processes. So, for example, if Microsoft is going to spend $150 billion this year on AI CapEx and they're only making $20 billion, that means they're going to have to make way more in the future. And that gets increasingly difficult as the amount of revenue that you need gets larger.
Basically, we're seeing the unprecedented revenue growth, and we're actually seeing that they're delivering on their predictions. They're actually over-delivering on their predictions, the best companies out there. I do think what is important to take into account is what I also spoke about in my opening argument, is that as you're assessing these companies, there will also be losers, right? And I think as you look at revenue growth and you look at revenue within AI, it's very important to look at where do you believe you have sticky recurring revenue versus experimental revenue. Because as I agree with Ryan's argument that selling the first $100 of lemonade is the easiest, and where you can, I think, determine whether you're investing into a winner or what will be a loser, independent of whether this is a bubble or not, which I don't believe it is, but there will be losers. You need to look deep into that revenue and kind of figure out, how is it generated? Where is it coming from? As the revenue grows, is the gross margin increasing or decreasing? Are you becoming more profitable or less profitable as you grow? What does the unit economic looks like? So I think the devil is in the detail there in terms of asserting whether the quality of the revenue is there and determining which of these companies you should back versus which will probably end up becoming the losers.